She was a pregnant teenager working a factory job in Wisconsin, with no college degree and no connections. Today, she runs the largest roofing distributor in America and sits on the Forbes list of the richest self-made women on the planet. No trust fund. No inheritance. Just grit. Her name is Diane Hendricks, and her story is about to change how you think about starting over. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we break down real empire stories. Not fairy tales, not overnight success myths, but the actual grind behind the fortune. Today we're talking about Diane Hendricks, co-founder and chairwoman of ABC Supply. If you've ever felt like your background disqualifies you from building something huge, stick around, because Diane's story is proof that it doesn't. Let's get into it. Your starting point doesn't define your ceiling. Diane was born in Mondovi, Wisconsin, in 1947, and raised on a dairy farm alongside 8 sisters. Life on that farm meant early mornings, hard labor, and not a lot of resources. At just 17, she became a teenage mother. She worked odd jobs, including a stint as a Playboy bunny, just to make ends meet while raising her child. Here's the thing most people miss. None of that looked like the beginning of a billion-dollar story. If you'd met Diane at 19, you probably wouldn't have predicted future billionaire, and that's exactly the point. Think about it like this. A lot of us wait for the right conditions before we start building. Diane didn't have the right conditions. She had a farm, a factory job, and a kid to feed. But she got her real estate license in her early 20s and started selling homes. That one decision, to learn a skill and get a license instead of waiting for permission, was the first domino. Your starting point is just data. It's not a life sentence. Bet everything on the business you understand. In 1975, Diane married Ken Hendricks, a roofing contractor. Together they started buying old houses, fixing them up, and renting them out around Beloit, Wisconsin. That hands-on experience, understanding construction, materials, and what contractors actually needed, became their edge. In 1982, they opened the first ABC Supply store, distributing roofing, siding, and windows to contractors. They didn't invent a flashy new technology. They built a distribution business in an unglamorous industry, one most people would scroll right past. But Diane and Ken knew that industry inside and out, and they scaled it store by store across the Midwest. Real-world example. By 1998, ABC Supply crossed $1 billion in annual sales. Then, in 2007, tragedy hit. Ken passed away suddenly. Diane could have sold the company, stepped back, taken the money and walked away. Instead, she took the chair. She ran a multi-billion-dollar roofing empire as a widow with 7 children, in an industry historically dominated by men. The lesson here isn't, go into roofing. It's this. The biggest opportunities are often hiding in boring, overlooked industries where you already have real experience. Diane didn't chase trends. She went deep on what she knew. Crisis is where empires get built. This is the part of Diane's story that really separates her from the crowd. During the 2008 financial crisis, the housing market collapsed, and so did ABC Supply's business. Sales dropped. Competitors were terrified. Most companies were in pure survival mode. Diane did the opposite of what fear tells you to do. In 2010, in the middle of that wreckage, she acquired her rival company, Bradco, at fire sale prices. But here's the real risk. To fund that deal, she gave up 40% of her own company to an outside investor, on the condition she could buy it back within 5 years. She later said she still gets chills thinking about it, because she was risking the very company she wanted her children to inherit. That's not a comfortable bet. That's a bet the farm moment. But she pulled it off, buying back her full stake in just 4 years. Then in 2016, she made an even bigger move. acquiring L&W Supply, cementing ABC Supply as the largest wholesale distributor of roofing, siding, and windows in the entire country, with over 900 locations nationwide. The takeaway: everyone else's crisis is your opportunity, if you have the nerve and the discipline to move while others are frozen. Diane didn't get lucky in 2010. She made a calculated, terrifying bet, and it paid off because she understood her business better than anyone else in the room. So let's bring it together. Diane Hendricks went from a dairy farm in Wisconsin, to teenage motherhood, to building, and then single-handedly running one of the largest privately held companies in America. Today, Forbes ranks her among the richest self-made women alive. 3 lessons. Your starting point is not your ceiling. Go deep in an industry you actually understand, even if it's unglamorous. And when everyone else is panicking during a crisis, that's often exactly when the biggest moves become available, if you're brave enough to make them. Diane herself put it simply: if she could make it, you can make it too. If this story hit you the way it hit me, smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every single week we break down another empire builder just like Diane, the real stories behind the wealth. And drop a comment. Which industry do you know better than anyone else in your life right now? That might be your ABC Supply. I'll see you in the next one.